Hi everyone, welcome to Millet Magic. This is Dr. Sarala in conversation with my father Dr. Khadar. So when I have been speaking to people and when the topic of pickles comes up, most of them are under the assumption that pickles are not good for us, and though they like pickles, they have given up eating pickles. And I find it surprising that something they love so much and they're just firmly believing that it's not good. So it's been little difficult to convince them on why actually pickles are good. So I thought today let's just burst the myth regarding pickles and give everyone a clear explanation as to what its benefits are.
Yes, pickles without which there is no meal in India, starting from Kashmir to Kanyakumari.
Different
Kinds of pickles and different methods of pickling, and we could actually call our nation a pickling nation.
Yeah, there's a show actually
Yes.
called Pickle Nation.
So pickles are the most beautiful and wonderful dishes that just generates interest in the food to start with. And when you see the banana leaf meals, first thing is the pickle. So, but sadly, the industrial food culture, the so-called experts, the doctors, the scientists, mostly from 1975-80s onwards, started creating this myth that you use lot of salt in your pickles, you use lot of oils, and so these two are very bad for you, and salt increases your blood pressure and hypertension increases. So you are actually buying heart attacks, and this kind of misinformation has been propagated by these so-called experts intentionally. This has been their tool of creating bad image for the food and the food practices of different parts of the world, because they want to centralize and bring in monoculture all through the world.
Like
Coconut is bad for
rich in
cholesterol,
and not good for
yes,
us.
and groundnut oil has got aflatoxins like this. Curd is not
making
good.
you fat.
You're making you
Cholesterol.
fat. So these, the only reason is this, that all over the world different food habits, different methods of making food, different cultures have been systematically I would say been subjected to these kinds of misinformation, and we are convinced in the last 40-50 years that it's bad for us. But the fact of the matter is, it is just otherwise, and they are the most beautiful, most scientific way of consuming any given natural products. And it is to our ancient knowledge and wisdom of our people that we still have these cultures left, and that is the beauty of our India. We are still maintaining some,
still holding
on to these wonderful practices. And what is so good about it? As I told you, just the thought of having pickle on the plate itself conjures the taste buds, and the whole process of wanting to eat, everything begins. And it is just the opposite of satiety. Once you have eaten, I am done. That feeling is so important, and this feeling to start to wanting to eat is very, very important, and that's what this magic of pickles comes in. And what are these pickles? Why did they miseducate us? We do agree that there is a salt and oil, but then both the salt and oil have been contaminated in the last 40-50 years. So they are very bad. But then if we use the natural salt, the sea salt, and natural ghani oils, which we will talk about it later, bull driven ghani oils, absolute health, not even in iota of ill health is there in any part of the pickle. So, first and foremost important thing that we should all understand is we need to make the pickles with the natural materials. And at home, with your hands, with all hygienic conditions, and that is what is pickling about. In fact, pickling is like festivals for us, when sacred processes. In fact, if you go to places like Andhra and Rajasthan, Gujarat and even Karnataka, we do pray when we start the pickling processes. And
set aside
separate day for that.
Those people first take
bath and all
there's
this
a separate room
for store the pickles. And the porcelain vessels are cleaned, put it into the sun, and it's a protocols are there. And it is not that anyone and Tom, Dick and Harry can go and start pickling processes. It's a beautiful, wonderful, systematized protocol methods are given in each and every part of our country. And along with the pickles, we also have wonderful materials like turmeric, fenugreek, cumin, these wonderful ingredients which go into this pickling process. I am not going into the process of pickling, but I am trying to communicate to people that eating good pickles, homemade pickles, is wonderful for your health. And the beauty of these chemicals that we are using for pickling processes, natural sour materials. As you all know, that we can do pickling with sour materials, like starting with tomatoes, has got oxalic acid, that is 4 carbon units acids, just the sister of lactic acid, that is found in buttermilk and curds. So, what is this sourness? Is due to alpha hydroxycarboxylic acid, and the lengthier the chain, the more stabilization of the electrons happens. So, that is the most crux and beautiful part of the chemistry, why these chemicals, the sour materials like oxalic acid in tomato, ascorbic acid in gooseberry,
lemon?
Ascorbic acid, citric acid is in lemon, and tartaric acid in imli, that is tamarind, and mango you have what is called gallic acid, and gongura, it's a leafy pickle which has got protocatechinic acid. See, the nature and the stabilization aspect of the electrons becomes much better as we go in this direction. So, one over the other, these are competing to help you stabilize the superoxide radicals and the free electrons that are running around. Any carcinogenic materials that are generated in the processes are cleaned up there and then, and you need them in a very small amounts, and that is the beauty of it. You don't need tons of it.
The complete meal
shouldn't be
just pickle
and rice. That's not the right way. It is just to initiate the hunger and initiate the taste buds, and it's incredible.
It even initiates salivation.
Salivation, yes.
Saliva is one of the
most
first
important
primary
digestive
enzyme.
enzyme.
So the same thing happens completely inside us too.
In fact, the first thing is you need to drink a small sip of water so that your esophagus opens up, and then you start with the pickle, 1 or 2 morsels of this pickled meals, and then you get into the course of all the other.
So that much is enough to act as an antioxidant?
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we also have the habit of eating pickles. If there is, the spices are less or more, people can adjust that along with the pickle. So, pickle serves many purposes, and this is the wonderful thing of our pickling processes and pickling, and this is the science of it. And protocatechuic acid is the most stabilizing sour material, and it has an aromatic ring, and mango, gallic acid, again an aromatic ring. So, citric acid, it's a 6-membered ring. Ascorbic acid in gooseberry is 5-membered ring. Tartaric acid and oxalic acid in tamarind and tomato is 4-membered chain. So this is the science of the pickles. We have being able to absorb free radicals and anti-carcinogenic properties, and beyond that the taste buds. So as I told you, however much and whatever best food that you can eat, the most nutrition, the vegetables, this and that, and if you are not having the urge to eat and the satiety, that meal is useless for you.
If it doesn't appeal to your taste.
Taste not only taste, that two aspects of wanting to eat and then satiety. If these two are not provided from a meal for you, then however healthy that is, it's not going to help you completely.
Well,
yes,
it won't get absorbed.
So this is the most important point for pickling. All that science is different. See, we are not just science, it's beyond that. So biological systems not just work on science alone, it's beyond that. So all these wonderful things have been amalgamated in our food materials and food practices and food preparation in the kitchens of Indian homes, and that is the beauty of pickles.
Unfortunately, now even pickles are being sold in plastic bottles.
And that is the sad part of modern living, that everything is now
sachets. We get
sachets, plastics. Yes, plastic nanoparticles are going to contaminate your intestines, stomachs, and
so
spoil.
Instead of being anti-cancerous,
it's going to be cancerous, causing cancer. So you want to also be very careful in which you are storing your pickles. So do not store your pickles in plastic dabbas, and even steel is not going to be all right, because the pickles, because of the salt and the acids, corrode the steel itself. So the best vessels for you is wood or glass or porcelain. These three are quite important, suitable. So even the spoon that you use has to be a wooden one or a porcelain one for you. Leave it and pickle. So all these cautions you have to follow, and you will have good health to go.
Thank you, Dad, for telling us the science behind why pickles are good. So in layman's terms, basically, India has been a nation which has various pickle recipes which change from region to region, even family to family, which have been passed on from generation to generation and held very close to the heart. Pickling is a technique where we take those substances which are seasonally available like mango and gooseberry and preserve them in such a way that we can enjoy their benefits throughout the year. Pickles have a sour element, which is the acid, which acts as an antioxidant and helps to remove the free radicals which are present in our food. Like for example, when we heat oil, there are free radicals generated. Like in meat, there are free radicals. In our body itself, due to various metabolic processes, free radicals are generated. And if these free radicals are left unchecked, they will cause cell damage, cell death, and can even initiate cancer. So by consuming a small quantity of these antioxidants, we put a check to the free radicals and prevent all these processes from happening. So let's continue to uphold the tradition of pickling with the knowledge of why it is good. Let us make, let us share, and let us eat.